What if I told you that Jason Lee, the Hollywood blogger turned politician, just ignited a scandal that ropes in Jay-Z, Beyonce, Diddy, and millions of taxpayer dollars? Yeah, this isn't just celebrity gossip anymore. This is a full-blown conspiracy. Let's break down how a city embezzlement case just exploded into accusations against the Carters themselves. And trust me when I say this, the deeper you look, the crazier it gets. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing Jason Lee, the man who built his brand on spilling messy Hollywood gossip, is suddenly a politician. That's exactly what happened when he was appointed vice mayor of Stockton, California. It felt surreal, like a storyline from a parody sitcom, only this time it was real life. And right from the start, this appointment raised more eyebrows than applause. From day one, people questioned the move. Stockton already had a reputation for unstable politics, and now they were betting on a man whose background was media headlines, not city planning. Some optimists said it was a bold way to connect politics with culture, but others shook their heads, warning that this experiment would blow up fast. And sadly, their warnings came true much quicker than anyone thought. By the time Jason officially took office, Stockton was strapped for cash. Instead of easing into the role with steady leadership, Jason dove headfirst into flashy projects. Within months, the spotlight wasn't on Stockton's progress, it was on Jason's name plastered across messy financial scandals. And one scandal in particular became the breaking point. The whispers started with a $50,000 controversy. Stockton had backed a Wild 'N Out live event at the Adventist Health Arena. Ticket sales flopped, and instead of canceling, the city dipped into its emergency funds to keep the show alive. On paper, it seemed like a bailout, but in reality, Jason's fingerprints were all over the money trail. And once Jason's name was linked to those receipts, people wanted answers. Critics pounced, asking the obvious. Why was the vice mayor playing the event promoter? Why were taxpayer dollars being used for a failing concert? And the biggest question, was Jason personally profiting? The questions piled up, and Jason's carefully staged image as Stockton's celebrity politician collapsed overnight. And if residents thought that $50,000 was the end of it, they were dead wrong. For many Stockton locals, the Jason Lee experiment quickly turned into a nightmare. Instead of improving schools, fixing roads, or addressing crime, their new leader was allegedly funneling funds into celebrity-driven shows. What was supposed to be a bold move toward progress had turned into a national punchline. But as bad as this was, it was just the beginning of a much larger scandal. Because after this, Jason's story took a shocking turn, straight into allegations of embezzlement, corruption, and eventually a war with Beyoncé and Jay-Z. The $50,000 incident wasn't an isolated mistake, it was the first domino to fall. Former interim city manager Steve Cangelo stepped up and dropped a bombshell. Jason hadn't just misused $50,000. According to him, Jason may have been quietly draining millions of taxpayer dollars under the guise of supporting events. And that allegation lit Stockton politics on fire. Cangelo pointed out Jason's suspiciously close ties to the promoters behind Wild 'N Out Live. He even suggested Jason could have been pocketing some of that money for himself. Suddenly, this wasn't just sloppy accounting, it looked like embezzlement. And once the E word came into play, there was no going back. Cangelo demanded a full internal investigation. He wasn't whispering either, he went public, insisting the city needed answers. He claimed this wasn't just about one event, but a pattern of shady financial dealings. To him, Jason wasn't saving Stockton. He was draining it. But Jason Lee wasn't about to roll over. Jason hit back hard. On Instagram, he painted himself as a victim of lies, a man trying to uplift his city while enemies tried to tear him down. He wrote long, fiery captions claiming Stockton residents loved the event, and that Wild 'N Out had been nothing but professional. But Instagram posts couldn't erase the paper trail. Instead of addressing the $50,000 directly, Jason reframed the scandal as a political hit job. He said critics were targeting him because he dared to ask tough financial questions as audit chair. To prove his point, he even threatened lawsuits against anyone accusing him. But Jason's defense wasn't just about Stockton anymore. Jason hit back hard. On Instagram, he painted himself as a victim of lies, a man trying to uplift his city while enemies tried to tear him down. He wrote long, fiery captions claiming Stockton residents loved the event, and that Wild 'N Out had been nothing but professional. But Instagram posts couldn't erase the paper trail. Instead of addressing the $50,000 directly, Jason reframed the scandal as a political hit job. He said critics were targeting him because he dared to ask tough financial questions as audit chair. To prove his point, he even threatened lawsuits against anyone accusing him. But Jason's defense wasn't just about Stockton anymore. Out of nowhere, Jason linked his political troubles to Beyoncé and Jay-Z. He claimed the Carters were behind an elaborate conspiracy to silence him, suggesting his downfall wasn't about Stockton's money at all, it was about protecting their image. And that accusation sent the internet into chaos. According to Jason, he'd been blacklisted. He wasn't invited to Beyoncé's Renaissance premiere. He wasn't welcomed at Rock Nation brunches or Jay-Z's NFL press events. To him, this wasn't coincidence, it was intentional isolation. And being iced out by the Carters lit a fire under Jason that wouldn't burn out. Jason vented publicly about being shut out. He called himself a superfan, but admitted he felt humiliated by the Carters' constant rejection. No invites, no thank yous, not even acknowledgement after he claims to have done favors for them. And this rejection quickly spiraled into resentment. To Jason, these weren't just missed invitations, they were personal attacks, proof that Beyoncé and Jay-Z didn't respect him. And in Hollywood, being ignored often hurts more than being criticized. So Jason decided to flip the script and call them out. On Instagram Live, Jason went nuclear. He rattled off a jaw-dropping list of celebrities he claimed to have seen at Diddy's infamous parties. Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Chris Brown, Usher, Justin Bieber, Mary J. Blige, Tyrese, Amber Rose, Travis Scott, Jordan Woods. The list went on and on. And the way he said it left no room for doubt. Jason didn't hint. He didn't suggest it. He flat out declared he'd seen them with his own eyes. He even claimed he had receipts proving it. Suddenly, Jason wasn't just beefing with the Carters, he was threatening to unravel Hollywood's elite. And once he dropped those names, things allegedly took a darker turn. Jason alleged that once he spoke out, the Carters moved against him. He claimed they sent people to intimidate him, pressure him, and push him to retract his words. But Jason refused. He said he wasn't scared, even if it meant risking his entire career. But intimidation wasn't the only card on the table. Jason then revealed what he called his warning shot. Evidence he says he buried to protect Beyoncé, and Jason claimed he personally killed, a damaging report that could have destroyed Beyoncé and Jay-Z's pristine public image. According to him, he did it out of loyalty. But instead of gratitude, he says they treated him like he was invisible. And that betrayal cut deep. Feeling dismissed, Jason shifted gears. He began hinting that he might release his receipts after all, evidence that could allegedly shake the Carters' empire. But his accusations didn't stop at celebrity gossip. Jason accused Jay-Z and Beyoncé of running Hollywood like a shadow empire. He alleged they blackballed anyone who crossed them, buried damaging scandals, and pulled strings in politics, business, and media. He painted them not just as stars, but as ruthless power players, and he wasn't afraid to say he had nothing left to lose. According to Jason, insiders whispered about the Carters' influence all the time, but no one dared speak out. He claimed he was the only one willing to take that risk, even if it meant being blackballed forever. And while Jason kept shouting, the internet grew more divided than ever. Some laughed at Jason, calling him bitter and desperate for clout. Others started connecting the dots, wondering if he really was exposing truths people were too scared to say out loud. And the comment sections became a battlefield. One user joked that Jason Lee being vice mayor proved Stockton was doomed. Another said the only thing funnier than Beyoncé dodging him at an event was the fact he actually held office. But underneath the jokes, there was a question hanging in the air. What if Jason wasn't lying? And that's what kept the story alive. Because whether you think Jason is a clout chaser or a whistleblower, his feud with Beyoncé and Jay-Z has become more than gossip. It's a scandal that mixes politics, celebrity, and conspiracy, all wrapped into one explosive headline. So here's the big question. Do you believe Jason Lee? Did he really protect Beyoncé and Jay-Z by burying damaging receipts only to be cast aside? Or is this all just another ploy for attention from a man desperate to stay relevant? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and make sure you subscribe for more breakdowns. Because if there's one thing certain about Jason Lee versus the Carters, this story is far from over. And trust me, when the next chapter drops, you'll want to be the first to know.